First, the framing of the debate in the UK and in the EU is perhaps superfluous to say, but the first thing to stress is that the political debate about man-made climate change is completely over, and it has been for some time. All the energy, if you'll pardon the pun, is focused on the solution, what to do next. And as I say, that seems shared a sentiment with the audience here today as well. Second, just a word, picking up the President's comments about the economic crisis. There's a lot of questions around whether this is the time to be undergoing these kind of costly measures. And we're absolutely convinced that this is exactly the time to be keeping up pressure on a low-carbon economy, a new energy economy. There are no new jobs in old, albeit extremely important industry, but there are a huge number of new jobs, as Nancy's just explained, in green economy. So new jobs, but also new investments. So we get about 85% of our gas from Norway, Netherlands, Belgium. But in 2020, we'll get a huge proportion of LNG from Algeria, Egypt, Qatar. So the whole nature of our energy security challenge changes quite dramatically in the years ahead. Now, it's obligatory for every UK official speaking in the US to slip a Churchill quote in at some point in his speech. And I tried desperately, and I failed. There is a Churchill quote about diversity, and it's about not putting all your eggs in one basket, and it was referring to his military strategy in the Second World War, and I just couldn't find it. But in summary, basically, as you are, we're completely committed to the idea of a portfolio approach to the problem. So we've got renewables, we've got biofuels, energy efficiency programs, huge, reduced energy intensity, nuclear, and then existing oil and coal. So it's really the range of approaches. The first thing was the historic 2020 EU package that we signed up to last year. This is all 27 European countries committing legally together to 20% reduction in emissions by 2020 on 1990 levels. 30% we'll increase it to if we can get a global agreement in Copenhagen and beyond. The second 20 of the 320s is 20% gains in energy efficiency by 2020. And the third 20% is getting 20% of our energy from renewables. So we have this 20-20-20 package. A key part of it, which the UK had a part in negotiating, was that going forward, under our emissions trading scheme, our cap and trade that I'll come on to, 300 million of our allowances will be set aside for carbon capture and sequestration projects. We'll have 12 demo projects. The UK is going to do at least 2. We're hoping to do 4. And these will be largely funded from the market. We're also looking at ways of drawing down more funding from our domestic budget. And that was a huge political achievement across 27 countries. The second linked point is the emissions trading system. The first international cap and trade in the world. We got it underway in 2005. It's a massive undertaking. We didn't expect to get it all right overnight. And indeed, we got a huge number of things right, but we did get some things very significantly wrong. And the most obvious of those was the over-allocation of allowances in the first phase. And so, as many of you know, the bottom fell out of the carbon price because we simply weren't able politically to tighten the allowances we had for countries quickly enough in that first phase. So the great thing is that we've kind of made the mistakes, and those that follow can learn from them. We've also followed in our second phase, which is between 2008 and 2012. We're committing to getting absolute reductions in place because we've tightened the cap. And most importantly, industry, heavy industry, has had now over a decade to see the writing on the wall and to see what's coming down the pipe. So they've all been investing for a low carbon future already, so it's not hurting the bottom line as much as it would. We have had emissions decrease 16% since 1990, while the economy's grown more than 40%. So we've completely sort of got rid of the idea that you can't have both growth and action, and I think that's really important.